knows a lot about the science stuff. Professor Dave explains.
Now that we understand certain aspects of animal behavior, we are ready to examine population ecology. This is the study of the factors that affect species populations, as well as how and why a population changes over time. In ecology, a population consists of all the organisms of a particular species living in a given area. Exponential growth patterns of populations occur in ideal unlimited environments. A more common logistic growth pattern occurs when environmental pressures slow the rate of growth. Spatial distribution describes how spread out a population is. In other words, what area does a population inhabit? Population density describes how many individuals are found in that given area. Populations change due to the age of organisms at first reproduction, how often organisms reproduce, the number of offspring an organism produces, the presence or absence of parental care, and how long an organism is able to reproduce. Populations have their preferred geographical ranges, dependent on their ideal habitats. If those habitats are altered due to climate change, the range can expand or narrow accordingly. Geographical range is a key attribute of any species. Changes in this parameter are indicative of not only climate change, but certain types of human activity as well, such as the spread of invasive species. Core populations occur in the center of a geographical range, while marginal or peripheral populations are found at the boundary of the range, with the latter tending to be more at risk. Ecological genetics is the study of genetics in natural populations. Certain traits can be observed and quantified, allowing researchers to determine whether species are adapting as environments change. Ecological genetics focuses on traits involved in interactions not only within species but also between species, as well as between organisms and their environment. While classical genetics looks at sequencing DNA, ecological genetics focuses on traits of ecological significance, or traits related to fitness which ultimately affect an organism's survival and reproduction. Patterns of mortality are important to quantify, especially in endangered species. In ecology, a life table is a record of survival and reproductive rates in a population, broken down by age, size, or developmental stage, like egg, hatchling, juvenile, and adult. In a nutshell, life tables are concise ways of showing the probabilities of a member of a particular population living to or dying at a particular age. They follow the fate of a group of individuals all born within the same populations in the same year. Of this group, only a certain number will reach age, and there is an age above which no individuals survive. Plotting the number of those members of a group that are still alive at each age results in survivorship curves for the population. These are usually displayed on a semi-logarithmic versus arithmetic scale. Species like humans and other large mammals, which have fewer overall numbers of offspring but invest time and energy into caring for the offspring, display a type 1 survivorship curve, a relatively flat curve that reflects low juvenile mortality, with most individuals living to old age. A constant probability of dying at any age is called a type 2 survivorship curve. Lizards, birds, and rodents are on this curve. In species that produce many offspring but provide little care for them, this results in a type 3 survivorship curve, a steep curve reflective of high mortality among the young, but then flattening out as individuals who reach maturity survive for a relatively longer time. This is representative of many insects and shellfish. Age structure is the composition of a population in terms of the proportions of individuals of different ages for a defined time. It's closely related to the birth rate, death rate, and migration of a population. This variable is an important indicator of population status, as growing populations typically have larger proportions of individuals of younger age, while declining populations have smaller proportions of young individuals. Stable populations typically have relatively more individuals in reproductive age classes. The age structure of males can influence breeding dynamics. In populations with greater numbers of older prime-aged males, there may be earlier, shorter, and less socially disruptive breeding periods. When there are fewer older males present, breeding periods tend to be longer and females typically breed later in the season. Later breeding can lead to later birth dates, which can lower juvenile survival, affecting a population's ability to increase in numbers. The two types of population growth are exponential and logistic. In exponential growth, there is an unperturbed increase in population size when there are plentiful resources available. This population keeps growing bigger and faster over time. Logistic growth occurs when an increase in the size of the population is influenced by the limited resources in the environment. It grows more slowly as it gets larger. Having lots of individuals in the population can cause growth to slow because there are too many individuals using up too many resources. Eventually, this type of population growth will reach its carrying capacity, which is the maximum number of individuals the environment can support. Density in population has already been described as the number of individuals per a given unit of area. There's also something called delayed density dependence, a situation where population growth is controlled by negative feedback, operating with a time lag. Ecologists have long been studying population cycles and haven't been able to successfully explain them. Perhaps delayed density dependence holds the key. In this situation, populations are allowed to increase above their normal capacity simply because there is a time lag until negative feedbacks bring the population back down. To understand time lag, think of an ice cube out on a table at room temperature. The ice cube doesn't melt instantly. It takes time to absorb heat, and then it starts to slowly melt. There are many instances of time lag in the environment. The causes of delayed density dependence in populations vary in each situation. It could be due to food supply and predation. It could be due to competition between life stages. Some insects even cannibalize their own young. Disease is another factor, as it takes time for enough susceptible individuals to be present for a disease to spread. Delays in sexual maturity can play a role too, leading to fewer offspring overall. Finally, extinction is the complete disappearance of a species from Earth. This plays an important role in the evolution of life as it opens up opportunities for new species to emerge or dominate. The extinction of the dinosaurs is a case in point, as it allowed mammals, and eventually us humans, to proliferate. Natural extinction arises from natural phenomena, like an impact from outer space, for example. Mass extinction pertains to the die-off of large percentages of species in the ocean, land, or both. Anthropogenic extinction, on the other hand, is extinction specifically due to human activity. Unlike all previous extinction events through geological history, which were caused by natural phenomena, the current ongoing extinction of species is due to our unsustainable use of land, water, and energy, as well as climate change brought upon due to overuse of fossil fuels. Ecological extinction is a bit different. It can be defined as the reduction of a species to such low abundance that, although it is still present in the community, it no longer interacts significantly with other species. In other words, if the species is no longer an important predator, competitor, or prey, its loss results in little to no adjustment to the abundance and population structure of other species, which the balance of the ecosystem relied upon. In ecology, a metapopulation is a population of populations that is distributed in discrete habitat patches and linked by occasional dispersal. A series or set of local populations may exist on a patch of suitable terrain, but separated from other occupied patches by unsuitable terrain. Rather than tracking individual organisms through time, a metapopulation approach tracks the occupancy of habitat patches through time. Metapopulation ecology underscores the significance of the spatial structure of the habitat on population processes. Whereas a population is considered a group of special individuals that is demographically, genetically, or spatially distinct from other groups of individuals, a metapopulation is a set of spatially disjunct populations, along which there is some immigration. With some important concepts in population ecology covered, it's time to zoom out and examine community ecology next.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Support me on Patreon so I can keep making content. And as always, feel free to email me, ProfessorDaveExplains@gmail.com.